How's it going, people of YouTube? I got these 9 gadgets here and a Pikachu, so you know what it is. It's trade tip time. Yeah, so, what a little concept thing. I don't know why I just did that. Doing is another one. It's called trading for movable cards and immovable cards, and vice versa, I guess. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to say why would you want to do these things. I've been talking about quick cards to trade. Why would you want immovable cards? For all you don't know what a movable card, immovable card is, it's pretty it's one of those things where a movable card is kind of like trade bait, except it's a little. Actually, it is trade bait, but there's also bigger forms like $30 cards, like $20 cards, like Levier's a $20 card. I can't really think of any $30 cards like at the top of my head. Maybe like I think Ultra Dark Hole might be 30. Stuff like that. But they're harder to move, and movable cards are they can be bigger in value. Like I'm sure you guys know Rescue Rabbit tour guides. Those are pretty. Like, they can move if you want to get rid of them, and they're higher value actually. So yeah. Anyways, what I have in front of me is a playset of Hobby Gadgets. If y'all didn't know. What I think, to me, there are immovable cards. People at regionals sometimes want them, but they're pretty immovable in terms of like locals or something like that. Now I'm gonna tell you why I traded for these and what I traded for them, and it's just gonna be an example. I wanted to see if I can give some examples of my trading and stuff like that. So I have several, like some of them are small trades, some of them are bigger trades. So yeah. Now, for I don't know, each Hobby Gadget is worth it's about $8 near mint and $10 mint. All mine are mint, so that's pretty cool. I actually have, other than this 9, I have 2 more red Hobby Gadgets, so I think that's kind of cool. But for this trade, I traded for these 9 gadgets and a super chain experience. I'll give you guys a better view. There we go. And for these, I traded a 1 Levier, BLS, Common Mind Control, Super Dad, and Super Duality. If you guys didn't notice, in that trade, I traded some trade bait cards. Super Dad, I guess, might have been trade bait. Common Mind Controls are always funny to have, and Dualities are dualities. So, but you did notice I traded a BLS and a Levier for a bunch of freaking gadgets. But if you think about it, the BLS is like 40, and the Levier's like 20, Duality's like 8, so, you know, and the Dad's like 0. Like, I don't know, they might be worth something, but anyways, basically I traded like 65 for 90, 100, something like that. So that's why I did it. Why I think it works was, 1, I wanted Hobby Gadgets. 2, I don't know, I didn't really want them, but I think they'd be kind of good to have. You never know if that deck becomes good. Gadgets are okay in OCG, whatever. I traded for mainly this, though. And which comes to another trade I made. I traded a Beret, which a lot of these trades might sound really bad to you guys. I don't know. This is probably bad trade tips. But anyways, I traded Beret for only 2 rare chain experiences. The reason why I asked that is these are really hard to find. They were $13 or $15 when they were really hot. I think they're going to be hot again. And because of the wind-up deck and the Insectors, obviously, if you chain disappear in a Hornet, it's going to be really hard for them to get it back without, like, Leviering it. So, yeah. And if you have some protection against that Levier, they're kind of screwed. And especially against wind-ups, if you chain disappear that rat, they're done. Another one. So these were like kind of, well, this first one was like a really big trade. That one was kind of like a, let's see how this works. Berets, the Berets and Beretos were just really hard to move. Nobody was really wanting them, so I figured I'd try to get rid of it before stuff happens. I don't think they're gonna win anytime soon, so I just think the other decks are a little bit better. They just have Cyber Dragon out. Anyways, so I did this trade. That was kind of cool. And then this is an example of a small trade I made. I traded an Ultra Trag for 3 Armageddon Night. The reason I did this is because they're kind of getting in sectors. Ultra Drag's really not worth anything anymore. It could be an example of trade bait, but it's not going anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere, so I figured I'd trade it as fast as possible. Or I'd trade it because it just wasn't moving. So that's pretty good. So before I get to my last little trade going, if you haven't understood yet, I traded some movable cards for immovable cards, and movable cards for immovable cards for movable cards. So this is just kind of stuff to think about whenever you're trading. It's just always important to think: Are you using this card for your deck? Are you going to be using or to trade later? So that's always good. And then the last one I traded was I traded a common Thunder King and a super return for an Ultra Dark Hole mint, and I was like, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. One, because it really truly, like, these can probably move a lot faster. Common Thunder Kings, great example of, hey, this stuff moves, and their trade bait is awesome. It's a very good tip. So hopefully you guys might have learned something a little bit of this. Hopefully you might take it to your next local, think about it, It's just one of those things you gotta think about. Yeah. And so so far I've used like all three of my trade tips to utilize some pretty okay trades. I thought they were pretty good, or else I wouldn't have made them. I would never pressure myself into a trade, anything like that. I just say no. It's always easier to do that. Alright, so we're running about 7 minutes, so I figured I'd clear it out with this Pikachu saying, "I peek at you," in the shower.